What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video where we will have a major update on some Liverpool takeover news because the Qatar Investment Authority has held talks in England with Liverpool Football Club regarding the sale of Liverpool Football Club. Remember that Liverpool have offices in London as well, so this doesn't necessarily mean that they traveled up to Liverpool, but it looks like the representatives of FSG are still open to a full sale of the football club. Previously, when it was announced that FSG are selling Liverpool, they put a valuation of £4 billion on Liverpool, but nobody really met that valuation. But now that could change because Mansour bin Ibrahim Al Mahmoud, who is the managing director of this Qatar Investment Authority, has held personally talks with FSG regarding the sale of Liverpool, and they are figuring out what to do with Paris Saint-Germain because the Qatari, the other investment group who own PSG, of course they can't. This group can't own two clubs, so they would want to buy just a percentage of Liverpool at first, and once they figure out what to do with PSG, whether they sell the club, because their project at Paris Saint-Germain has failed miserably. They set out to win the Champions League and to be a global superpower, a global super club, and that has failed massively. They reached one Champions League final, they lost that to Bayern Munich, but since then, and even before that, they always went out in the last 16 or the quarterfinals. So they want a football club with a lot more history and a lot more tradition like Liverpool. And the Qatar Investment Authority, according to journalists, are working on buying a stake in Liverpool as an investment vehicle which would allow them to invest in Liverpool FC while they still figure out what to do with Paris Saint-Germain. And this way, if they own just a percentage of Liverpool FC, then they would not breach UEFA financial fair play rules and UEFA rules, because similar to how Saudi Arabia invested into Chelsea, they own a percentage of Clear Lake, which is one of the owners of Chelsea, and they also own Newcastle United in full. So this would be a similar scenario. The capital from the Clear Lake funding is from Clear Lake is funding the Chelsea project, because Saudi Arabia invested $1.9 billion into Clear Lake, so they can't take a direct stake in Chelsea due to their purchase of Newcastle, but indirectly they are also making decisions at Chelsea, and that's why I think this thing shouldn't be allowed. An investment group shouldn't be able to own large parts of Chelsea and the full part of Newcastle United at the same time. So I'm really against state ownership. I would only welcome Qataris owning Liverpool if it was just an investment group and not the full state or the head of state making decisions for Liverpool, because that just doesn't sit right with me. But that is my opinion. Let me know what is your opinion in the comments below, and we will take a deep look at what this guy is all about, Mansour bin Ibrahim Al Mahmoud, who is the head of the Qatari Investment Authority. And of course, if you can further support my channel, subscribe to my Patreon, link is in the video description. These videos only make $5-6 per video, so please help me out and support me financially. Link is in the video description. So this guy, Al Mahmoud, is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the Qatar Investment Authority. And Qatar has surprised many by hosting a very, very good, memorable World Cup football tournament, and of course they are on good terms with many people in the West due to the energy crisis. And Qatar is trying to achieve a newfound status by, of course, money. They built a huge infrastructure for the World Cup, and also Qatar's vast gas reserves and little native population of 350,000 people make it the wealthiest country per person, with GDP per person more than £400,000, which is absolutely insane. And the man in control of the nation's foreign investments, overseas investments, is Al Mahmoud, the CEO of one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds, the Qatar Investment Authority, QIA, and they are interested in buying Liverpool FC. It has about $360 billion in assets, which is just for a normal person like me, it's incomprehensible. Literally, you cannot comprehend how much money that is. And according to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute, they have this $360 billion. And this investment authority group was created in 2005 to handle the windfall from Qatar's gas exports. Al Mahmoud's largest investments last year included 2.4 billion euros invested in a German power company, RWE, and also $1.5 billion invested in Bodhi Tree, Murdoch's media venture in India, and the QIE was an anchor investor in Porsche's initial public offering as well. And it's crazy how many properties and companies Qatar already own that you might not know about, because in the UK alone, Qatar already owns the Shard, Harrods, Claridge's and the Grosvenor and Connaught hotels, plus a large part of British Airways, Heathrow Airport, Barclays and Sainsbury's, and of course a lot of prime residential property in London, including Chelsea Barracks, and also Al Mahmoud, who is a trained pilot as well. He has led Qatar Museums since 2014 and previously worked as the head of risk management at QIA. He served as director of investment affairs for a former prime minister of Qatar, and he was also CEO of Qatar Development Bank, according to his biography. So he has a large portfolio and he is very, very experienced as well. And maybe one of the reasons why Qatar wants to buy Liverpool FC is because they faced huge hurdles, huge struggles to buy Manchester United, and because that deal stalled, maybe they are turning their attention towards Liverpool. And first they will buy a stake of Liverpool if this goes through. But I think FSG will be very, very careful who they sell the club to. They said it multiple times that they will only sell to the right people. But can you trust these venture capitalists? Ultimately, their biggest motive is money and to get the best return on their investment. So if they can sell a portion of Liverpool FC to this Qatar Investment Authority group for a huge amount of money, maybe even over transfer or over market value, they would entertain the idea, in my opinion, even though I don't want Liverpool to end up in Qatari hands, because it looks like this guy is very close to the state of Qatar and to people running that country. So that's for that reason, I personally wouldn't want Liverpool to be owned by these guys. But if they just control a minority stake in Liverpool and bring in a huge amount of money, which helps Liverpool fund transfers, then maybe that could be an avenue that we could explore. But I will keep you guys updated. Let me know. I would love to hear your comments. Do you want Qatari ownership at Liverpool or not? Let me know in the comments below. And also I want to give you guys a roundup of all the Liverpool players who were in action in international football yesterday. And tonight I'm attending the Hungary-Serbia European qualifier, where Dominik Szoboszlai will play and is captain of Hungary. So I'm really looking forward to the game, and I will try to do a match vlog experience video, and that will be up tomorrow. So Andy Robertson, who dislocated his shoulder against Spain in Scotland's 2-0 defeat to Spain, he could miss as much as 3 months out with this shoulder injury. The Athletic reports that Robertson has flown back to Liverpool for the club to assess the injury, and they claim that sports activity involving shoulder movements should be avoided for a period of minimum 6 weeks, but maybe up to 3 months. I think 3 months is the most pessimistic worst case scenario. If he tore some shoulder ligaments or shoulder tendons, and maybe that is the worst case scenario. But if it's at least 6 weeks, then Andy Robertson will miss. Everton to lose, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Luton to lose again, and Brentford. So that's not the worst run of fixtures to miss. And Tsimikas got an assist for Greece yesterday. But if the worst case scenario happens and Robertson will miss 3 months, then he could miss a total of 17 games. And those games include Man City, Man United and Arsenal. Now that would be devastating for Liverpool's title hopes, because I think overall Tsimikas is just not as good of a left back as Andy Robertson. But I think he's still a pretty solid backup, and this will be a big test for Tsimikas, who got an assist. But first let's talk about Ben Doak, who helped the Scotland under-21s defeat my nation, Hungary's under-21s 3-1. Ben Doak got the third goal. He was fouled, he got the penalty, and he scored the penalty. Tsimikas claimed an assist for Greece with a brilliant cross for the opening goal of their 2-0 win against the Republic of Ireland. Konate also played against Van Dijk in the Netherlands-France game, where Mbappe scored an absolutely out-of-this-world goal, and in the end France won 2-1. They were leading 2-0, where Netherlands got a late goal, but it wasn't enough. And also Diogo Jota came on late from the bench in Portugal's 3-2 home win against Slovakia, and Trent Alexander-Arnold played the full 90 minutes against Austria, and it was Trent Alexander-Arnold's cross which ultimately ended in England's only goal of the game, where Jack Grealish whipped the ball across and Ollie Watkins slid in at the far post and tucked it home. Wataru also featured for over an hour, where Japan scored another 4 goals. This is now the 5th time that Japan scored at least 4 goals in a friendly game in a row, which is really impressive. Japan ran out 4-1 winners against Canada, which is really impressive, and Endo played, as I said, more than an hour. And also it was announced the Premier League match between Man City and Liverpool was rescheduled to another early Saturday kickoff after the international break. So on November the 25th, after a 2-week break where a lot of our players traveled to South America and back, we again have to play an early kickoff against Man City. And I'm at this point absolutely convinced that the Premier League and the TV companies, Sky Sports, TNT Sports, they purposely schedule Liverpool games for these early kickoffs to hurt Liverpool as much as possible, because since the 2017-18 season, so in the past 5.5 seasons, Liverpool got 12 early kickoffs, and all the other clubs, the second place team is Tottenham with 5. So Liverpool got more than double the amount of early kickoffs as the next team. Man United are as big of a club as Liverpool. Arsenal are a huge club. They don't get early kickoffs nearly as much as Liverpool. They get about 30 or 35% of the early kickoffs that Liverpool get. So how can that happen? How is this possible? How is this even allowed? That Liverpool get 12 early kickoffs after the international breaks, and the second place team is Tottenham with 5, and the rest follows them. Just absolutely disgraceful scheduling, in my opinion. This shouldn't happen. They should balance it out. They should put Man United on some early kickoffs. I mean, they are in the Champions League, so I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. At least they can't put us on early kickoffs after the Europa League games, because we play on Thursday, so they can't put us on Saturday. But after international breaks, they try to put Liverpool as much on early kickoffs as possible. And what is really weird is that this game, the Man City Liverpool game, was scheduled for a Saturday late kickoff, which would have been a lot more ideal for Liverpool. ago, and then they moved it back to the early kickoff. I mean, we saw against Wolves, McAllister started the game after playing for Argentina a few days earlier in South America, and he had to be substituted at halftime because he literally couldn't run. He was absolutely exhausted, physically and mentally. Going on a 12-13 hour flight takes so much out of any player, not mentioning jet lag and being acclimatized to a new time zones again. So apparently they moved this fixture because of safety concerns, which I don't really understand why that is, but if you can explain that to me in the comments below, let me know. And I mean, Gareth Southgate, who is an absolute clown, is managing England. How is James Ward-Prowse not in the England squad when he's one of the most informed players in the Premier League, and Jordan Henderson is in the squad when he's playing in front of 800 people in Saudi Arabia, and he's way past his best. He has been not good enough for Liverpool and for England for 18 months going on 2 years, and yet he still picks Jordan Henderson. I mean, no hate to Jordan Henderson, he's a Liverpool legend, but he shouldn't be starting for England anymore. I think we can safely say that. And if James Ward-Prowse is not picked, who is tearing it up with assists and goals in the Premier League and in European football, then why is Jordan Henderson starting ahead of him? And then Gareth Southgate gets surprised when England fans boo Jordan Henderson, partly because he shouldn't be picked because of just his name and his connections in the England dressing room, but he also is booed because he betrayed the values and he betrayed the minority groups that he was an ambassador for when he was playing for Liverpool by going to Saudi Arabia. And then he comes out with a hypocritical, contradicting interview during the previous international break. So England fans, some of them are rightly upset. I mean, booing Jordan Henderson doesn't do much good, so I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can understand why they are doing it. Southgate can't. He said, I don't really understand it. He's a player who I think has 79 appearances for England. His commitment and what he has delivered for England is exceptional. His role within the group on and off the pitch is phenomenally important. Henderson is living off his reputation and his past. That's well and good. Yes, he has been brilliant for Liverpool and England in the past, but not right now. He shouldn't be starting ahead of James Ward-Prowse, for example, who is not even in the squad. Like, what are you doing, Gareth Southgate? Wake up. I mean, how is this guy still the England manager? England want to win major trophies, and I said time and time again, with Gareth Southgate, they will win an international trophy in spite of Gareth Southgate being the manager of England, not because of Gareth Southgate being the manager of England. I mean, just put a hypothetical scenario. If Gareth Southgate was a free manager and he was sacked by England, which club would employ him? Would he manage one of the top clubs in Europe? No chance. Would he manage a top 6 club in England? No chance. He would maybe manage a Bournemouth, no disrespect, or a Burnley, but not a top club. I mean, he wouldn't even get the manager's job at Tottenham, in my opinion, or Aston Villa. I mean, Unai Emery is a much better manager than Gareth Southgate, and he is the manager of Aston Villa. That's just my opinion. I mean, yes, he might be a good leader and a good role model for others, but then just put him on the bench and maybe he can come on for 15-20 minutes in the last few games. That's what his role would have been at Liverpool, but when he heard it, he wanted none of it and he went off to Saudi Arabia. Gareth Southgate explained his reasoning. He said he is the one that has taken the likes of Jude Bellingham under his wing as soon as he came in the squad, provides a brilliant role model throughout the group in his professionalism and his approach to every part of his work. I mean, it's fine. You can have like 23 or 25 players in your squad, but don't just pick the names that you are good mates with. Don't just pick Harry Maguire because he has been a trusted player for you. Harry Maguire is not playing for Man United. He's not even good enough to play for Man United. Yet he's getting starts for England. Not in this game against Australia, which England won 1-0, but against other teams. And Harry Maguire is clearly even worse than Jordan Henderson in his position. And he's still getting picked by England. So yeah, just I don't understand it. Let me know what they think about all the topics that we talked about in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.